Hello students, in the previous session we started the second chapter, residential status. The residential status of an SSC can be classified into three categories. They are ordinary resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. To become a resident of India, an individual must fulfill any one of the two basic conditions defined under section 6 subsection 1 of Income Tax Act of 1961. That basic conditions are: he is in India for a period of 182 days or more during the previous year, or he is in India for a period of 60 days or more during previous year and 365 days or more during the 4 preceding previous years. So, these are the two basic conditions. Any one of these conditions must be fulfilled by an individual to become resident of India. To become an ordinary resident of India, along with any one of the basic conditions, he must fulfill two additional conditions. That additional conditions are: he has been resident in India for at least 2 years out of the preceding 10 previous years immediately preceding the relevant previous year, and second additional condition is he is in India for at least 730 days during 7 years immediately preceding the relevant previous years. If he satisfies these two additional conditions, he will become ordinary resident of India. If an individual fulfills any one of the basic conditions and fails to fulfill these additional conditions, he will become non-ordinary resident of India, and if he fails to fulfill the basic conditions only, he will become non-resident of India. So, this is the concept that we learnt in the previous session. In this session, let us discuss some problems relating to calculation of residential status of an individual. See the first problem: Ramachandra, an Indian citizen serving in USA since 2000, came to India for the first time on 30th June 2012. He stayed here at a stretch for 3 years and left for Japan on 1st July 2015. He returned to India on 1st April 2016 and remained in India till 31st July 2017, when he went back to the USA. He again came to India taking an employment with an American concern on 31st December 2018. What is his residential status for assessment year 2019-20? Here we have to calculate residential status of Mr. Ramachandra. Let us calculate his residential status. See the working note. Our previous year starts from 1st April 2018 and ends on 31st March 2019. Our assessment year is 2019-20. So, his stay in India in previous year is from 31st December. See, in the last year he came to India by taking an employment with an American concern is on 31st December 2018. From that date he lives in India. So, here he stays in India in previous year from 31st December 2018 to 31st March 2019. Here his stay in India starts on 31st December only, because he landed in India on 31st December. We have to consider that date to calculate his residential status. So, one day in December and in January 31 days, in February 28 days, and in March 31 days. Total number of days he stay in India in previous year is 91 days. So here he fulfilled the basic condition, that is basic condition number 2, 60 days or more in the previous year. Next he has to fulfill one more condition, in that condition only, that is 365 days in preceding 4 years immediately preceding the previous year. See here 2017-18, 2016-17, 2015-16 and 2014-15 are the 4 years preceding the previous year. The total number of days in these 4 years exceeds 365 days. That means he fulfilled the basic condition and he becomes a resident of India. Next, he has to fulfill the additional conditions. First additional condition is he has been a resident in India for at least 2 years out of the preceding 10 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. For that purpose, we have to calculate his residential status for 10 years. That is starting from 2017-18 to 2008-9, okay, from 2008-9 to 2017-18 we have to calculate his residential status for every year. So in the year 2017-18 his stay in India is for 122 days, that is in 2017-18. In these type of problems you have to start from the last in your question. Here see in 2017-18, see remained in India, see he returned to India on 1st April 2016 and remained in India till 31st July 2017 when he went back to the USA. In the year 2017-18, he stayed in India for April, May, June, July for 4 months, that is from 1st April to 31st July. That is what we are calculating here. April 30 days, May 31 days, June 30 days and July 31 days. In the previous year 122 days he stayed in India, and in 2016-17 whole year he stayed in India. See here, after returning from Japan he stayed for 1 whole year, that is from 1st April 2016 to 31st March 2017. And in 2015-16 after returning from Japan, that is before leaving to Japan, he stayed in India for 3 months, that is from 1st April to 30th of June and 1 day in July. See here, 1 day in July and previous 3 months he stayed in India. So in 2015-16 he stayed 92 days, and in next 2 years he stayed full, and in 2012-13 he stayed for 275 days, that is from 30th June 2012 to 31st March 2013 he stayed for 275 days. And in rest of the previous years he is non-resident because he stayed in USA from 2000. So for last 2 years he was in the USA. So our first additional condition is 2 years out of 10 preceding years immediately preceding the previous year. So here he stayed almost 3 years in India. So he fulfilled first additional condition, and the second additional condition is he is in India for at least 730 days during the 7 previous years. Here he was in India for more than 730 days in previous 7 years. If you want, you can calculate that thing also. So our solution is name of the SSC Ramachandra, previous year 2018-19, assessment year 2019-20, residential status, he is an ordinary resident because he fulfilled one basic condition, that is second condition, and both of the additional conditions. So he is an ordinary resident of India. See the explanation. Because he fulfills the following conditions, that is one basic condition under section 6 subsection 1, he is in India for 91 days in previous year and more than 365 days, that is almost 944 days in previous 4 preceding years. So he becomes the resident. He also fulfilled additional conditions under section 6 subsection 6. He was resident in India for more than 2 out of 10 years preceding the previous year, and he was in India for more than 730 days during the 7 years preceding the previous year. Since Ramachandra fulfills both the conditions, he is said to be an ordinary resident in India in previous year 2018-19. So this is the first problem. Let us solve some more problems. You can understand the calculation better. See the second problem. Pradeep left India for the first time on 5th March 2016 after having lived here for 22 years. He returned India on 10th September 2018. Find out his residential status for the assessment year 2019-20. For our calculation, previous year is 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019. His stay in India in previous year is from 10th September 2018 to 31st March 2019. 10th September 2018 is the date of return to India. See here, date of return to India, 10th September. And he stayed 203 years. 203 days in the previous year. So the preceding 10 years we have to write as we written in the previous problem, that is from 2008-9 to 2017-18. In 2017-18 and 16-17 he is a non-resident because he stayed in abroad, that is from 5th March 2016 to 5th March 2016 to 10th September 2018 he stayed in abroad. So first 2 years non-resident, next all 8 years he is resident in India because he stayed in India. So our solution is name of the SSC Pradeep, previous year 2018-19, assessment year 2019-20, residential status ordinary resident. Because he fulfills the following conditions. Basic condition under section 6 subsection 1, he stayed in India for 182 days in previous year. Here he stayed 203 days in the previous year, and he fulfills both additional conditions, that is 2 years out of 10 years preceding the previous year, and he stayed in India for more than 730 days during the 7 years preceding the previous year. So he is A ordinary resident in India for the previous year 2018-19. So, let us stop this session here. In the next session, let us solve some other problems. Solve these problems at home. In the second problem, I did not calculate the number of days he stayed in India for rest of the years, because he stayed for a whole year, that is 365 days, except 2015-16. That you can calculate by your own. Thank you students. Let us meet in the next session. Thank you.